we are hearing so much about Hillary Clinton's emails these days because they're the ones who have been asking for the Freedom of Information request to get these documents to find out. He has a new book out. It's called Exposing Our Government's Secrets and Lies. The book is called Clean House. Tom Fenton of Judicial Watch, welcome back to Big 550 KTRS.
Good to be with you. Thanks for having me.
So explain to me how congressional hearing after congressional committee after congressional committee couldn't get these emails, and a group like yours was able to obtain these.
You're assuming they wanted to get the emails.
But they were Republican committees. You would think they would want them.
One would think, one wouldn't. But that's not the way it works. They're relying at this point on Judicial Watch to do this work almost explicitly. There was some interest from the Benghazi Select Committee in some of these emails, but the bulk of them, they didn't do anything in terms of investigation. Are you aware of any hearings outside of the Benghazi Committee or investigations about this email system other than the one testimony that Mrs. Clinton gave that one day? Nothing. And it's up to us and an independent group, we're nonpartisan, to figure out what went on. We exposed a lot what went on with Benghazi. We cover that, describe that in the book. And it was in the course of figuring out what was going on with Benghazi that we stumbled across the Clinton email system. And obviously, once we found out about that, we went to town.
But again, I don't understand. Judicial Watch, I get what you guys are. You're, as you said, an independent group, and you have your point of view, which is certainly reasonable and understandable. But these are Republicans. You would think they would have wanted to do the work that you guys were trying to do.
Well, I think many Republicans don't like to do hard anti-corruption work or scandal work. They don't think the politics is there for it. And, of course, they're compromised, too, so they don't like to be criticized if they push too hard on individual issues they may have. So they're cautious about it, and they don't like doing corruption investigations. And the Democrats are right that politics infect the way Republicans approach corruption issues in an administration, even one that they oppose. But the politics aren't the way the Democrats would have you believe. The politics are nothing in here but us chickens. Let's just talk about, National Uniform Week or something like that.
The book is called Clean House. Tom Fenton from Judicial Watch, our guest. So the argument is that you found a lot of smoldering fires. You found a lot of interesting emails, but you haven't found anything that directly links a pay-for-play, or you haven't linked anything that shows that she did anything illegal.
Well, that's for the jury to decide. Look, the jails are full of people placed there in circumstantial evidence, and Mrs. Clinton said there's a lot of smoke but no fire. Well, that's not usually people's experience. Usually there's something causing smoke, and the smoke is in these emails where you have a Clinton Foundation executive successfully seeking access and special consideration from the State Department for donors and saying they're a friend of ours. I mean, how do you interpret that as to they give us money? And this includes two of these donors. One of them was the Crown Prince of Bahrain. A foreign head of state went through the Clinton Foundation operation rather than normal diplomatic channels to get a meeting with Mrs. Clinton. And the other was a Mr. Shiguri, who was essentially a criminal, corrupt billionaire, a big donor to the Clinton Foundation, though. And Doug Bann, the Clinton Foundation executive, was trying to get him a meeting with the top official on Lebanon.
But a meeting, I mean, okay, so a meeting is one thing. They could have been talking about something that had no nefarious, there was nothing nefarious talked about in the meeting. It's just a meeting. Why is that? Why is setting up a meeting so terrible?
Well, because Mrs. Clinton promised it wouldn't happen. She promised that she would stay out of Clinton Foundation business. She wouldn't do anything to impact Clinton Foundation business. Her two top aides, Cheryl Mills and Yuma Abedin, who both worked at the foundation, were barred under Clinton's ethics rules from participating in foundation-related business, at least for the first 2 years of their term. Later, and by the way, these emails are coming out of Yuma Abedin's emails, one of her top deputies, who had an email account on her illicit server, Hillary's. At one point, Abedin was working for the State Department and the foundation at the same time. Can you imagine what those emails are going to show? We haven't even gotten to those yet.
Now, that was my next question. Judicial Watch, Tom Fenton, our guest. The book is called Clean House. Now, are you guys releasing these emails as you get them? Are you releasing them strategically because of the calendar? What's going on there?
Oh boy, I wish we could be strategic. We get them and we try to look at them as quickly as we can, figure out what's important about them, and then get them out. And it's only a matter of capacity in terms of the timing, not anything strategic. So there's a batch of emails now we're reviewing, for instance, that will have more interesting information in them for sure when we put them out, hopefully today. But it's just a matter of running against the clock to get the information out in a timely way, because we know the American people are interested in this, and we know the State Department waited a year and a day to give us this material because they didn't want us to have it.
Do you think the private emails should be open to the public and or released?
Well, any truly private information is not subject to disclosure under the law. So if your Social Security number is in there, or you're setting up a lunch date with your husband or your daughter, that sort of stuff is not going to be of interest to us, and the law doesn't require its release. The dispute is who decides what's private versus government. And Mrs. Clinton evidently decided that half of her emails were personal and deleted them or attempted to delete them, and now we've recovered 14,900 through the FBI, and in our litigation is going to force their production, and already they've found 30 at least Benghazi-related emails in that material that supposedly was all personal.
Tom Fenton, our guest. He is from Judicial Watch. The book is called Clean House, Exposing Our Government's Secrets and Lies. Tom Fenton, you're always welcome here. Thanks for checking in.
Appreciate the coverage.
727.